Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, classmates. So, I am the third reporter. So, this is my pre-recorded The Title of the Scents of Apples by Bienvenido Santos. Bienvenido Nicky Santos, also known as Ben, is the chosen literary author for this independent critic paper. He was born on March 22, 1911 in Tondo, Manila and died on January 7, 1996. Bienvenido Nicky Santos, a Filipino-American novelist, poet, short story writer, autobiographer, memoirist, and essayist. Bienvenido Nicky Santos is considered an important voice in Filipino-American literatures. Reviewers comment his fictions, poetry, memoir, and essays as powerful explorations of the Filipino immigrant experience. They identify and discuss the recurring thematic concerns of his novels and stories, such as loneliness, alienations, and the corruptions of innocence. So there are the plots of the story. So the first one is expositions. The Filipino young man went to Kalamazoo on October when the war was still on to attend a conference. On the same night, he met another Filipino, which is Celestino Fabia, a farmer. Mr. Santos was surprised to see a man who traveled really long just to hear him talk. In the course of the discussions, the man asked how the Filipino women of today were different from the stereotype he was familiar with. The Filipino young man replied that although they differ in the exteriors, both women of different eras bear the heart and soul of a modest Filipino. Mr. Fabia was pleased. So, the writer was asked to speak before an audience in Kalamazoo, MI once 1 October when the war was still on. On the same night, he met another Filipino, which is Celestino Fabia, a farmer. So the second one is rising actions. After the lecture, Mr. Fabia told Mr. Santos about his farm and his family and invited him over to his house, repeatedly saying that his wife Ruth will be pleased to meet a first-class Filipino. He also told him about his son, Roger, with pride. Mr. Fabia picked Mr. Santos up the next day and during the course of what seems to be an endless journey to the distant farm. So the second one is climax. Mr. Santos became aware of Mr. Fabian's life in the Philippines. He was a spoiled brat and the black sheep of the family. He lived in an old Visayan town where there are no apples but there are coconut trees and roosters crowing early in the morning. And there was his family. They finally arrived in the farm, the fragrance of apples diffusing all over the place. So the second one is falling actions. Mr. Santos finally met the wife of Mr. Fabia and his son. He noticed how Ruth's hospitality and kind-heartedness was almost Filipino and how adorable Roger really was. In their humble home, he also found pictures of an anonymous Filipina wearing a traditional costume, another manifestations of how dire Mr. Fabia's nostalgia is. So, second one is resolutions. He bade farewell to the family and Mr. Fabia took him back to the hotel. He offered to send news to his family when he got back to the Philippines, but Mr. Fabia refused, saying that they might have forgotten him. They shook each other's hands and said goodbye. So the second one is the man versus society. So the man versus society. The overall aspect of the story that we may mostly observe as we read through Mr. Santos' point of view is, is the clash of emotions present in Celestino Fabia's actions and touched upon moving to Michigan and having a new family. Two of the most evident parts that show the type of the conflict are the scents of apples in Celestino's farm, as which he said were never present in his home Visayas, and the photograph of the Filipino wearing a traditional costumes which served as an reminders of the Philippines for each time Celestino sees it. So the second one is characters. So the first one is Celestino Fabia. Celestino Fabia, a Filipino farmer who lives in America together with his family and the one who invited the Filipino young men to his home. And the second one is Ruth Fabia, the wife of Celestino Fabia. Roger Fabia is the son of Celestino and Ruth Fabia. And the last one is Filipino young men who went to Kalamazoo, America for conference wherein he had answered questions about Filipino and American women. So the sense of apples, as a personal notes, there was a dilemma of emotions and a sense of being forgotten behind the title of the short story, and despite not being in the exact situation, there was a part of me what that relates to a separations and longing for some significant people. The sense of apples remind the peoples who how valuable our time is when we still have someone we call family and can still talk to them. Personally, this work can be seen as a tool for the minded to close-minded to open their minds, particularly those who have been misinterpreting people working abroad. So that will be all. Thank you.